Welcome to the Texas state budget. The Texas budget process is a lengthy system where Texas has a tool budget system responsibility shared by the LBB and the GOBPB. The two main stages of the budgetary process are the development of a draft budget by the Legislative Budget Board and the legislative process by which appropriation bills make their way through the committee process. The LBB appoints a budget director who gathers all of the budgeting requests from all various state agencies and then creates appropriation bills for them. The LBB is also in charge of evaluating and planning estimates of probable costs for the agency programs. The LBB's draft budget is the basis for final legislation. The second part of the budget process involves the legislative process. Before the seventh day of each legislation session, appropriation bills are sent in by the LBB to the House Appropriations Committee and the Senate Finance Committee. The bills then work their way through the committee system until the final versions are ready. Each house then votes on the bills. The differences between the two versions of the bill are confirmed in a conference committee. After the bill gets through the conference committee, it is returned back to both houses for final approval. Once this approval is met, the budget is approved.
Texas has a whopping $32.7 billion in a budget surplus, coming from the 2023 year. Texas, however, chooses to not use this budget towards education, safety, etc. Texas chooses to keep saving this money for when a time of uncertainty comes. How Texas is different from another state, we're going to compare it to Oklahoma. Take a state such as Oklahoma. Oklahoma operates under tax cycle, which means they operate and plan their budget on a yearly basis. Texas is biannual, so they plan it on a 2-year period. Texas biannual budget contradicts 60% of the United States, who also uses the annual system.
State income versus property tax. Now, our group decided to get rid of income tax due to these 3 reasons. First off, the government cannot tax a citizen based on just living. It is a constitutional law in the United States Constitution. Furthermore, citizens need a source of income in order to be functioning members of society. So the idea of income tax is unlawful in our opinion and is detrimental to the development of the standard of living in a state. Secondly, property tax is more proportionate to the income of an actual income tax. Compared to the actual income tax. Income taxes are written off, falsified, and pose many political issues depicting the tax system in the U.S. People with wealth will buy wealthy properties, hence paying a tax on such. Lastly, it's more convenient. Property tax is much easier and convenient for citizens, for all they have to do is just write a check. Income tax, however, is more of a hassle, and it also can falsely tax citizens.
The purpose of the state budget. It distributes funds between housing, healthcare, public safety, and supporting local communities. Also, this budget represents its priorities.
The general pattern of state spending. Where does it come from? Texas's largest spending areas were elementary and secondary education. Budget comes from the sales tax, the franchise tax, motor vehicle related taxes, crude oil taxes, and natural gas production.
How the money is organized in the budget. The money is organized into categories, multiple categories, ranging from education all the way to oil and gas. The state organizes the budget into health services, transportation, infrastructure, and safety.
Constitutional provisions. Some provisions that have been required by the Texas State Constitution is that the government must submit a budget to the legislative branch by January 10th. If the government exceeds the estimated revenue, the governor is required to recommend the sources for additional funding. Per Article 3, Section 49A, is a pay-as-you-go system. The state must maintain a balanced budget. All bills that get as far as appropriations must be sent to the comptroller, making the comptroller one of the most important positions in Texas. And per Article 3, Section 51A, it limits spending for needy dependent children to 1% of the state budget. And lastly, per Article 3, Section 49J, it limits the amount of debt the state can incur. Identify the steps or players in the political tensions in the state budget. The budget is a complex penal system. It all starts with the legislative branch, and it helps enact the budget through money bills. Political tensions are always hot when it comes to dealing with money, and the Texas state budget is no different. Texas Republicans still firmly believe in less government spending on social programs, whilst the Democrats are against spending the money on developing oil and gas. Nonetheless, Texas keeps its spending low.
Thank you for listening.